I'm going to show you, using official government records, that I'm a true independent, and not just someone who switches political parties to be an opportunist. And I'm going to show you just how rare we true independents are. So let's take a look. If you go to Google and search for candidate party preference history, the first site that should show up, as long as you're in California, is the candidate party preference history for the last 10 years from the California Secretary of State website. If you click on it, it brings up this document from the Secretary of State, the Elections Division, called the March 5th Primary Candidate Party Preference History for the last 10 years. And if you take a look, it shows you the candidates running for all of the political offices in California and their voter registration history for the last 10 years. So here we have the United States Senator, we have Adam Schiff, he's been a Democrat for the last 10 years. Barbara Lee is running, been a Democrat for the last 10 years. You can see that this Christina Pascucci was a Democrat from 2019 to 23, but a no party preference, which means an independent, from 2013 to 2019. And this has the party affiliations for every candidate running for every state and federal race in California. So let's go down to the United States House of Representatives districts. So here is District 1. In California, there are 52 districts. And if we take a look at these candidates, we have Doug LaMalfa, who is actually the incumbent Republican for the last 10 years. Mike Duran is a Democrat for the last 10 years who's running against him. And if we take a look at someone like Rose Yi, well, her history is a little bit more complicated. She was an independent for 2 years, and then a Green Party voter, and then a registered Democrat, and then Green, and then Democrat, and then independent, and now she's a Democrat again. So when you see a candidate like this, it should give you pause, because you have to ask yourself, are they running because they really believe in the ideals of that party, or they are a true independent, or are they running because it provides the best opportunity of winning the next election? And so when you see someone like Rose, it would indicate to me that she would have some explaining to do as to why she's running as a Democrat. Is it because she thinks that will give her the best chance against the incumbent Republican? If she can beat out Mike Duran, then she'll have the backing of the Democrat Party and the resources of the Democrat Party. And another question you then have to ask is, if someone's willing to switch parties for political opportunism, will they cave into political pressure if they belong to a party when they're in Washington, D.C.? If we scroll down to District 2, this is a district where we have Jared Huffman, the incumbent Democrat, who lives in Marin County and has been a registered Democrat for the last 10 years. If we take a look at a couple of the candidates running against him, we have Chris Colomb, who was an independent, and then a Republican, and then an independent, and then a Republican. So this is another situation where the candidate should have to explain what his real views are, and his history would suggest that he leans more right, and he's perhaps a moderate though, because he has previously identified as an independent. But you can also notice that he's changed his voter affiliation several times over the last 2 years. And then if we go down here to Jason, he was a Democrat, but now he's an independent. And if you look at his history, he's been an independent for 9 years. So that would also indicate to me that maybe he is truly more independent than someone who was just a registered independent for the last couple of years. So let's scroll down to California's 10th Congressional District, where I'm running. And if you take a look, I'm listed here, and I have been registered as an independent for the last 10 years. Catherine Piccinini has been a registered Republican for the last 10 years. The incumbent Mark Desaulniers has been a registered Democrat for the last 10 years. Nolan Chen, registered Republican for the last 10 years. If we look at Mohammed El-Sherbini, he was a Republican from 2013 to 2023, and then he became an independent just this past year. So that again raises questions that he should have to answer. Is he a Republican masquerading as an independent, or is he a true independent now? And how so? how have his positions changed over time? And I think a lot of Americans are jaded about politics because there seem to be too many people going into politics for reasons other than wanting to do what is best for their district or for the country. So if we scroll up to California's 9th congressional district, we can see another instance where this is likely the case. This district, Josh Harder is a Democrat, the incumbent. He's been a registered Democrat for the last 10 years, though he's moved a couple of times. And if we look down here at Khalid Jaffrey, well, he was a Republican for a few years, and then a Democrat, and then a Republican, and then a Democrat, and he's currently a Republican. Is that because he thinks it will give him the best chance of running against the incumbent Democrat? Or is he really a Republican now and he's just switched back and forth 5 times over the past 10 years? That's a question that he should have to answer. So now I'm going to ask you the question, how many true independents do you think there are running for Congress here in California? There are 52 districts and just about 250 candidates running in all of those races total. Out of those 250, how many do you think have been registered as independents for the last 10 years? The answer is 6. Just over 2% of all of the candidates have been registered as independents for the last 10 years. And because we are so rare, I'm going to give a shout out to all of the other candidates running for Congress as independents. If we scroll down here to California's District 20, here's District 20, we can see that TJ Esposito, no party preference, independent for the last 10 years. Shout out to you, TJ. If we scroll down to District 25, we find Ryan Burkett, independent for the last 10 years. If we scroll down to District 31, we find Marie Manville, independent the last 10 years. Then we scroll down to District 47, Terry Crandall, independent the last 10 years. And finally, District 48, Lucinda John, independent the last 10 years. These are the 6 out of nearly 250 candidates running for Congress here in California that have been registered independents for the last 10 years. Oh, and there's one more thing I want to show you because I found it very funny. If you scroll down to the state assembly races, in District 5, Athena Singh has changed her registration 177 times since 2013. The last 2 registrations are independent and other. A candidate like that, political identity crisis. Probably not a great person to vote for to be in office. I'm sorry, Athena. Now you know where to find some more insightful information about all of the candidates running in your district. And I think California makes this publicly available so that people can really do an extra layer of research if they choose to make sure that their political candidates are running for the right reasons. And I've just proven to you, using official government records, that I'm a true independent thinker and a true independent voter, and I always have been. So whether you lean left or you lean right, or you're an independent like myself, and you're finding the 2-party system harder and harder to swallow every year, or you're finding that their positions on issues aren't always in line with your own, then I'm your candidate. You have my word that I will vote on an issue-by-issue basis and will always try to do what is best for our district and our state and our country. And I'm the only candidate running in this race who can say that. And I just proved it to you. I won't have party leadership breathing down my neck. I can't be threatened with having my party's super PAC money pulled if I don't do what I'm told. And I won't be influenced by my party's big donors. And now if you have a Republican friend who you talk politics with and they hate Democrats and they try to convince you that I'm really a Democrat disguised as an independent, you know that's garbage. And if you have a Democrat friend who tries to convince you that I'm a Republican disguised as an independent, you know that's garbage. You can send them this video and ask them to find you another candidate in this race who's been a registered independent for the last 10 years, who won't be getting a dime of support from the RNC or DNC super PACs, who will have both of those party machines coming after him, and that he's the only candidate running for the exact opposite reason, to dismantle the corrupt two-party system and take back the power they've been stealing from Americans for decades, to give it back to the people, because he's Independent Joe. Then tell them to get out of your face, go back home, and turn back on MSNBC or Fox News. And if you do that to your husband or wife, make sure you have a comfortable pillow and blanket for the couch tonight. But in all seriousness, I'm going to do everything I can to take back our power. That's why I put in more work and created more content than all of the other candidates in this race combined. That's why this morning when I woke up on a Saturday, I started working on this. And my dad just got into town last night, and we're going to head up to the mountains for the rest of the day and tomorrow, but not until I'm done recording and producing this, because it's that important. And tonight when I'm up there, I'll find Wi-Fi or a coffee shop to make sure this gets out. But I can't do all of this alone. So if what I'm saying resonates with you, then please share it with others. Follow, like, subscribe to the content, sign up for the newsletter on independentjoe.com. It makes a little bit of a difference if you watch this and keep it to yourself, but if you can send it out to others and get 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 more voters for me, then you've just 10x the return on the work that I'm putting in for you, and we can make this happen. Thank you for your support. Have a great weekend. I'm Independent Joe Sweeney.